Hi everyone. I hope. Hi everyone. I hope you guys can hear me as well as see me, right? So I would love to. The only agenda here is to basically answer all your questions, right? So whatever queries you have, I'll be happy to answer those. And generally, I just want to talk about what you need to do to get great placements. What do you need to do to get great internships? What is the right path to basically get there, right? So all of this actually depends a lot on the kind of company you are interviewing with. Some companies need some certain kind of skills, other companies need a different kind of skills. So it's very important that you understand what kind of companies you are looking for, what kind of profile you are looking for, and that will basically help you decide how to prepare for that, right? That's the right path to basically get there. Okay, so just keep asking questions and I'll be happy to answer all the questions that you have. Just give me a minute, just 1 minute. Sure. So Nikhil just asked that is 7LP a good offer, right? So that's very subjective. So it kind of depends upon what your aspiration is, what exactly, depends on a lot of factors, what your skill set is by the end of your 4th year, what kind of companies you apply to, right? It depends on a lot of things. For some people, it's a great offer. For some people, it's basically not that great offer, and it kind of depends upon how, it kind of depends upon the right skill set that you have. In a way, it depends upon your college and your stream and all of those things as well, but all those things you can cover up if you build up your skills. So that is the most important part. So if you have great skills, that's the only thing that you need to worry about, right? That's the only thing that you need to worry about. Okay. Okay, so picking up the next question. Sorry, seems to be a slight issue, just figuring it out. Right? Okay. Perfect. So some guys are some of you are complaining about the audio. I think it might be coming from one side. I don't know. So please don't worry about that. Let's just focus on how to take care of it, right? So then there is a question from Manish. I'm in 3rd year. I'm not too much good in DS and Algo. What can I do? Should I go for development? Okay. So guys, let me put down some stats on, like, more than stats, what are the right paths for different kind of companies. I think that should help answer a lot of your queries. And once that is done, then I'll be happy to answer any queries which are not answered by what I'm going to discuss right now, right? So perfect. So now, if we talk about different companies and how to approach them, right? So generally, what you can do is you can divide companies into 3 different categories. First category is service-based companies, right? So these are service-based companies. Second are product startups. right? These are the second category. The third is basically large product companies. So these are the three categories that we can divide all the companies into, right? So there are multiple ways to divide companies, but the way I have divided, the reason is their selection criteria is very, very different. If we talk about service-based companies, most of these companies don't expect a lot of tech skills from you. They expect that you are good in aptitude, and they will have to train you on, it's their job to train you on technical skills, right? So they will basically hire you, they will train you for a certain period of time, and then you will start working in some project or the other, right? So generally their salaries are in the range of 2.5 to, I'll say, most of them are 3.5. Some of them might go up to like a 4 or a 4.5 as well, right? So that's the general LPA package that these people will be offering. So these companies tend to focus a lot more on your aptitude, your communication skills, and all these kind of factors, and very less on the tech. They will ask tech. It's not that they won't ask tech, but their major focus is on aptitude and other skills, right? Most of the people, I think they are generally interested in either of these two. These are more exciting. They pay better. Their work is better as well. So generally people tend to focus on one of these two, either the product startup or a large product companies. So these two have a very different way of hiring. In case of large product companies, they want you to be really good in DS and Algo, data structures and algorithms. That's what they are going to focus on in your interviews. That's the most important thing in their interviews. It's great if you have projects. It's great if you are good in, like you have done well in your college. Like all those things are good to have. But DS and Algo is must have. This is what they're going to focus on. If you're really good in DS and Algo, everything else can be ignored. But if you're not good in DS and Algo, like nothing else will matter as well, right? So DS and Algo is where they are going to focus on. They definitely would like if you have projects. That helps as well in the interviews, but the primary focus is DS and Algo. Why is that? That's because these companies are expecting that if you are really good in DS and Algo, that means your programming is good, your aptitude is good, your problem solving is good. And they assume that if you have all these three skills, then you will be able to learn any kind of framework, learn any kind of development, and basically perform, right? So that's the assumption that these companies are taking. Now, if we talk about product startups, right? The kind of work you will be doing in a large product company and at a product startup can be similar, right? Can be similar, but their hiring criteria is very, very different. A large product company has the resources. It has a lot of developers. So they are okay with you joining the company, spending some time in learning whatever is required for the job. They're hiring you on the basis of DS and Algo, but what you need to do on the job, that is something that you will have to learn once you join the job, right? So they are okay with you spending 1 month, 45 days, 2 months, depending upon company to company, in learning those skills. But in case of product startups, they don't have that much time. They want you to join and start being productive. So they will look at your DS and Algo. You can't ignore DS and Algo here. So they will be looking for your DS and Algo. Along with that, they want you to be good in some specific skill set. Either you need to be good in web development, or you need to be good in machine learning, or you need to be good in Android development, iOS development, right? Like you need to be good in one thing so that once you join, you can be productive within a week, right? Within a week, they would expect you to be productive and start working. So they focus on development, right? So these are the two things that basically are important from job perspective. If you know development, that will allow you to build projects as well. So it's a positive for large product companies as well, but it's critical in case of startups. Now, whether to join a startup or whether to join a bigger company, that's a very subjective call that all of you should think about with which one you would like to do. So what are the pros and cons of joining a product startup or a large product company? This gives you brand, right? So for example, if you're working at Amazon, then basically that gives you some confidence, that gives you the brand, right? So that is helpful. Let me write it down here. Startup or a big company. So I'm saying this will give you brand. This might little better salary. I don't think that's true in reality. Like startups have equally good salaries nowadays, right? So these are two major factors which people tend to think of when they're thinking of bigger companies. In case of a startup, what this will do is it'll give you a lot more responsibility. So this is actually a very big positive in case of startups, because if you have a lot of responsibility, you will learn a lot more. Your learning will be far more compared to what it will be in a bigger company. So you will learn a lot more. That will help you in your future career, right? So you have a lot more responsibility. You actually get to see complete business rather than just being part of one small team, right? So in a bigger company, if you're working in Amazon, you will have no clue what exactly is happening in Amazon. You will be part of a team, and within that team, like there'll be like 5-10 people, you'll be one of them, and you will have to worry about that system only. You will have no idea what exactly is happening overall in Amazon, why things are moving in the direction that they are moving. So you will not have any idea about that. But in case of a startup, in a smaller team, you will get to work directly with the founders. You will have most of the good startups will have a very open culture where most of the people will know why we are doing something, whatever we are doing. So as a business, you will understand things a lot more. So it's a mix, right? Like startups have their benefits, bigger companies have their benefits. So you need to really think about it. Most of the people don't think about startups that much, but they are a really great place to be at the starting of your career. So do think about that as well. Okay, so now that we have discussed this, there are a couple of companies within product companies, larger product companies, who look at your competitive skills as well. Most of the companies are okay with your DS Algo skills. In case of Google, in case of DirectEye, they tend to focus on your competitive topics as well, right? So competitive is nothing but advanced data structures and advanced algorithms, right? So that's something that will definitely help you if you are basically in these companies as well as otherwise. So if you're good in competitive, that's generally going to help you in all the companies. But specifically for these two companies, you definitely need to know, you definitely need to have some experience in competitive programming. Okay. So Abhinav is saying, I am from IIT Delhi and not from CS. How can I get CS jobs? So Abhinav, so first of all of you need to realize, some of you might not be from top colleges. Some of you might not be from computer science, but you want to get into computer science jobs. And these companies are either not coming to your campus, or even if they are coming to your campus, they are not allowing your department, right? Let's say this is the scenario that we want to take care of. Now, as soon as we say that, right, one thing you will have to understand is you cannot rely completely on your campus placements, right? Even if you are in a good college, you are in CS, don't rely completely on campus placements. You get the best campus placement that you can, and post that you need to apply off campus. Especially people who are not in let's say the top colleges or who are not in CS, I would highly recommend you to learn development, because you will have a much better chance getting into great startups, because startups have the time to actually evaluate your skills. Bigger companies have some template. They want to go to bigger colleges, they want to apply, get only CS students, right? So they do all those kind of things. But startups need to hire 1 or 2 great people, right? So they are always looking for people who might not be from best pedigree, but like they just want to focus on that this person knows a lot. So learning development will really help you if you are looking for a job which is not coming to your campus. So I will definitely recommend you to learn development for that. Okay. Okay guys, just give me a minute. So Mudassir Alam is asking, is aptitude really important? Right? So see, again, it kind of depends upon which company you are looking for. In case of some companies, they will ask aptitude in their initial placement test. When you will give set for placement test, they will ask you aptitude. So if your aptitude is not good, it's possible that you will not clear the written round itself, and that's going to be a problem. So again, depends from company to company. For example, I think Amazon doesn't ask aptitude questions, but a lot of companies do ask aptitude questions. So you need to think about that. So Shohadra is asking, does a good resume matter in case of internships? Absolutely it does, right? You need to have a great resume for internship. Actually, I think it's more important in case of internships, because if you're trying to get anything off campus, not just internships, right? Like if companies are coming to your campus, they will be okay with you having great DS Algo skills. And even if you don't have great projects, that might be okay, especially in case of internship. But if you are applying for any kind of an off-campus placement, right? Your resume has to shine for you to get an interview call. So you must have really good projects. You must have great understanding of some particular frameworks, like which basically allows you to be a great developer, right? So that's really going to help. Okay. So Shashwat is asking, give examples of data structure and algorithm projects. There are not many data structure and algorithm projects. Don't try to build projects with data structure and algorithms, because that basically means that you don't have any right skill and you're just trying to fill your project section in your resume, right? So learn some skill, learn some development skill, and build a project using that, right? Okay, great question from Abhinav Jha. Abhinav is asking how to apply for off-campus placements, right? So if you want to apply for off-campus placements, there are multiple ways of doing this. First, visit the company website. There must be a form where you can apply online. Do that. A lot of times you will not get a reply, because companies get tons of resumes from that source, and they tend to not always reply back to all the people applying from there, right? So that is one way. You should definitely do that. It doesn't cost you anything. It's basically something that you should definitely do. Second, find your seniors who are working in those companies, right? If you don't have any senior working in those companies, that's okay. Find other people on LinkedIn who are working in these companies. Send good messages, right? Like send a message why you are good, why it is worth that person spends time on you, and refer you to their company, right? Companies hire either on campus, they hire a lot of people through referrals, right? So an employee working in that company, if that employee says that, hey, I think the company should look at this particular person's resume, that carries a lot of weight. So that is another way that you can get into a company. So try to get a referral, either through your seniors or through talking to random people. Not random people, but like try to find people who are generally a little active on social media, generally a little active on LinkedIn, and try to connect through them. I think they will be able to help you out as well, right? So these are two main ways. So one person also mentioned that they have done a course from Coding Ninjas. So in that case, our placement cell is another way that you can reach out to companies. You can reach out to off-campus. You can basically get an off-campus placement at companies. Okay. Shubham Sachdeva is asking, I'm just done with my B.Tech and from placement purpose, should I go for web development or data science? Shubham, I would recommend you to go for web development. There are a lot more jobs in web development compared to data science or machine learning. That's just the reality, right? And a lot of people who are getting into data science, machine learning, they have been doing it for a long time. People who started in first year, second year, they do so much work by end of fourth year that they get great offers as data scientists. So there are jobs for data scientists. The only problem is that if you're done with your B.Tech, you want to spend 3-4 months and get a job. I think data science is something that will be really hard to crack. It'll be much easier and much better for you if you learn web development right now. I think that'll be a better career choice. Okay, so Rajdeep Singh is asking, why do MLDS roles requires you to do competitive programming, right? So that's not true. So it's not necessary that a machine learning or data science roles require you to do competitive programming. They expect you to be good in data structure and algorithms, right? See, most of these companies don't expect freshers to know a lot of machine learning, a lot of data science, a lot of web development. So they test you on data structure algorithms. It's a process that they have set. They just follow that, right? So you need to be good in that. Now, if you want to get into specific role in machine learning or data science, they would test you on that as well. But they will always test you on your data structures and algorithmic skills, right? I doubt a lot of companies will basically test you on your competitive skills. So Arpan is asking, why do product-based companies focus on DS and Algo more than development? So Arpan, I think the basic assumption is that they kind of have assumed that people coming out of colleges, there is no way they are going to be good in development, right? The system is not good enough to basically produce enough great developers out of colleges, right? So that is one reason I think companies' processes have been set around DS and algorithms. And also they kind of believe that if you are even if you're really good in development but your DS algo is weak, they assume that you're not that good a problem solver, right? It's not, so as a developer, the only job is not to write code. You also need to solve problems. You need to think of good solutions, right? It will not always be the case that somebody will tell you what needs to happen and then you just write code for it. A lot of times you'll have to think of what needs to happen as well. What is the right solution for a problem that we are facing right now? So problem solving skills is something that they want to look at, and they believe that data structure and algorithms are a good proxy to figure out if you have good problem solving skills, right? So that's why companies tend to focus on DS and Algo. Abhishek is saying, I have 2 years of work experience in software engineering, which involves little development and testing. How can I approach big tech giants? So Abhishek, see, first of all, DS and Algo, right? See, there are 2 steps to basically get into a company. Getting interview, cracking interviews. To crack interviews, you need to focus on DS and Algo. And because you are 2-year experienced, they will be asking you a little more system design. How will you implement that? How will you design a system? So they'll be asking you some things around that. So you need to worry about system design and data structure and algorithms. Now the one hard part here will be to get an interview. For that, you will have to try through referrals, apply through the company website and apply through these referrals as well. The referrals are the best way to basically get an interview. So try to, if you feel like your profile right now, though nobody's going to reply back to you, then learn something, build projects and try to showcase them and use those to basically catch eyes of people who are working in those companies right now, right? Okay, Harsh is asking how to get selected for internship at good company during college semester. See, again, getting an internship, 2 ways. On campus, off campus. On campus, DS Algo. Off campus, most of these companies, big product companies, don't hire off campus interns. Lots of startups hire off campus interns, right? So for these startups, again, you need to be good in development. So if you want to get internships, either you can apply on campus through companies coming to your campus. A lot of these companies will just want you to be good in DS and Algo. But in case you want to apply to startups, in case you want to apply And again, you will learn a lot more in a startup. I'm telling you, I can't stress this enough. Like I can't. It's an amazing 2-3 months that you're going to have if you will join a startup as an intern, right? I think you will learn a lot. So honestly, I would recommend all of you to try out both of these places as an intern. Like if you are in first year, I would definitely recommend you to keep a target that after second year and after third year, you need to do 2 interns, right? So we need to do it, 1 between second and third year, 1 between third and fourth year. That will give you idea where you want to work, right? Internship is a much smaller decision to make. So make sure that you get a startup intern as well as a bigger company intern. That basically means by end of second year, you should be really good in development and data structures and algorithms. That's the target that you need to have. So Rehan is asking how to develop good projects and get an awesome job. It's better to do M.Tech or MS in US. Very, very subjective, the second part of the question. Whether to do M.Tech in India or do an MS in US. Honestly, doing a master's will not impact your job prospects as much as you think, right? So the only reason for doing an M.Tech in India would be that, hey, right now there is no way I can get interviews, and I'll go to some IIT or some like a tier 1 college, and after that I'll get a lot of companies which will basically interview me. I think spending 2 years for that is definitely not worth it. So if you're considering a PhD further on, getting into research, that's a different story altogether. But if you're thinking of getting a job, I think M.Tech is not a very great decision. I would rather have you spend 6 to 8 months learning some hardcore skill and basically then applying for jobs. I think you'll get a great job. So spend 6 months getting so that is what I feel about M.Tech. About MS, I think less of a decision of how important it is for you, how much you will learn. I think it's much bigger decision that do you want to live in the US or do you want to live in India. It's a much most of the people who go for masters, that's their path into the US, right? That's their entry into the US. So it's not that you will not learn, you will learn a lot, but like if you're working for those 2 years, I think like a job will teach you a lot more than what a master's will. And the time cost, the money cost that comes with a master with an MS in US is really, really high. So you need to be sure that you want to do that, right? But if you feel like that, hey, I want to live in US for 4 or 5 years, even that is great, right? Like you want to spend some time somewhere else to basically explore, to get more exposure. So all that is absolutely fine, right? For the first part, how to get a great job, get really good in DS and Algo, right? And personally, I would recommend get really good in one development skill as well. Build multiple projects, do multiple internships, and that's the best way to be in demand in all the companies, right? Okay, Mohit is asking that I'm talking about references. What is the right approach to get one for any big project? I'm telling you, the only good way of getting a reference into let's say Google would be either whichever college you're from, you have some alumni of your college who are basically working there. If you know somebody, perfect. I don't know anybody, then what can I do? Try to find people who are your seniors. Your seniors will be most helpful for you. They will be always ready to help you out rather than a random person, right? So try to find a common connection. Somebody from your school might be in that. Somebody from your college might be there, right? Like, so use those connections to basically apply to these companies. You need to be resourceful. You need to be able to, you need to have that feeling that I need to do this. I have to crack this. That basically means that I need to find a way out, right? So do that. Okay, Utpal is asking, I want to ask how a BCA student get job in product-based companies. Utpal, basically, again, I'm telling you, you need to make sure that you are really good in skills so that you can crack the interviews. Then the problem will be, how do I get an interview? And I've already answered how can you get interviews for off-campus, right? And I'm again telling you, it will be much easier for you to get a great job in a startup rather than trying to get into, let's say, an Amazon or a Google. It will be a much harder journey. It will be much easier for you to gain these development skills and then apply to startups and get into one of them, do really, really well, and your journey will be really great post that. Jyotik is asking, can you explain hiring process of Microsoft and what DS problem should I work more on? So don't ask questions like which topic should I work on, which problem should I work on, because these are shortcuts. Don't do that. Learn all data structures, right? They're limited. So just go through data structures, solve a lot of problems. Don't worry about, hey, is trees more important than linked list? But why? You need to do both, right? So spend time on this. Don't try to take shortcuts, because what you need to realize is that at Microsoft or any company, if you have 5 interviews, you would be expected to solve 10 problems. And if you don't solve 1 or 2 of them, in all likelihood, you are not getting an offer. Even if you solve 8 of them, you are not going to get an offer, right? So you need to be really good in all these topics. That's why it is hard to get into these companies. So you want to get into Microsoft, that's a great company. That's really hard to get into. Then don't try to take shortcuts. Try to work on all these topics: linked list, stacks and queues, trees, dynamic programming, right? Like you need to work upon all these things to basically be confident as well as be ready to solve any kind of problems coming your way. Okay, so somebody is asking, what is the difference between work of data scientist and data analyst, right? So the difference is, generally the difference is that as a data scientist, so whatever work you will be doing, it will be more programming oriented, right? A lot of data analysts will be using Excel or some basic visualization tools to analyze the data. They will not be using machine learning. They will not be using like hardcore machine learning algorithms to basically get some results from the data. They're mostly looking at the data through Excel, through Tableau, through Power BI to basically get to conclusions, to get to interesting insights into the data. As a data scientist, you'll be using a lot more programming, you will be using a lot more machine learning, you will be basically analyzing the data. Along with that, you will be trying to find some trends using machine learning algorithms. So that's, I think, the basic difference between these two. Okay, so somebody is asking, what is the good approach to start your own company startup? I think the best approach is to basically, first of all, be confident that you have the skills, right? Don't start before you feel that you have the right skills. So once you have the right skills, then jump in, find partners who have complementary skills. So for example, if you believe that you are a great tech person, then you need to find a business person. Don't start with a friend where both of you have exactly the same skill set. It's not going to help, right? Start with somebody who has complementary skill set. That's really going to help. So try to find a partner. It always helps to have one more person along with you, right? So as soon as you have that partner, try to figure out which ideas you want to work on and start, right? That's the only way for you to do it. Actually jump into it. Okay. Dheeraj is asking, I have 13 years of experience working with Cisco, GE, Athena Health, etc. How do I approach Google? So Dheeraj, first of all, one thing that you will have to do is, most likely you don't remember a lot of problem solving techniques of how we solve data structure algorithms. You will have to work on those. I know you have 13 years of experience, but still you will have to work on your data structure algorithms. So please work on those skills to crack the interviews. How to approach? I think with your profile, with your experience, it should not be that hard to find somebody from your past who is currently working in Google, right? From your college, from your Cisco days, from your GE days, like you will be able to find somebody who is working there. So it should not be hard to find a reference. Try to get a reference. That is the best way. In case you are not able to, I think it won't harm to basically try and connecting with a couple of recruiters who are working in Google on LinkedIn. That can be another way of doing it. And then you can always use platforms like Hirist, using which you can basically apply to companies. Okay. So Vishv Gupta is saying, I have graduated from NIT Jalandhar in 2017 and Have been preparing for 2 years for government jobs. Currently, I'm doing DS course from Coding Ninjas. What is the path for getting a good job? I think you've taken the first step. You are learning data structure algorithms. I think that's the first step. I would recommend you to start applying to companies post this course. But while you're doing that, try to learn another skill. Try to learn web development. Try to learn. I would say web development, because web development will basically allow you to, if you get really good in web development, you will have a good job as well. So please do that, right? Spend some time doing that, and in the meanwhile, you can keep applying to companies as well, because on the basis of DS and Algo, also you can get a job, right? So do that. Okay, Anmol is saying, sir, I'm from tier 4 college, but the thing is nowadays most of the big giants demand for tier 1 for fresher. For low level colleges, they demand experience. So what do we do to get these big names? Anmol yaar, I won't recommend. Please, all of you need to really get out of this zone of that Amazon hi jana hai. I'm telling you, that is not the right path. You need to think of all these great companies which are coming up now, all these startups which are hiring, and they pay really well. Right? You don't have to worry about that. Then if they are paying so well, why are you worried about that you want to go to a bigger name? Right? Get into that company, learn a lot more. I'm telling you, you will learn a lot more than what you will learn at a bigger company. And then you will be able to eventually get into wherever you want to go. Right? So don't get stuck on few things. Learn skills, work on yourself, work on data algorithms, work on development. That is how you will get into great companies. And these great companies are not just these 5-6 big tech giants that you think of, right? Try to get into a smaller company with great founders. You will get to work directly with the founders, right? If you join a bigger company, you will not get to work beyond your manager, right? There'll be like 3-4 people, 3-4 layers of people who will be above you in your company. Most likely 6-7 in a bigger company. In a startup, you'll be working directly with the founders. You will have a lot more idea about what business is doing. So please consider that as an option as well. Okay. Mohit is saying, I am embedded system developer. I want to switch to web development. Should I learn Node.js? How difficult it is to get a web development job? It's easiest to get a web development job. If you are a good web developer, it's very easy to get a web development job, right? You should definitely, if you want to get into development, definitely do web development, and Node.js is a perfect thing to pick up. A lot more companies are working in Node.js than any other framework. I think the two most popular ones will be Ruby on Rails and Node.js. So pick one and basically work on that, right? But Node.js seems to be a fine choice to me. That is the reason we have created our course in Node.js as well. Okay. Nishit is saying that I keep saying that work on projects, but what are some examples of projects that can add a lot of value to my CV, right? Okay. So let's say I am a great Android developer and I make an app, I launch it on the App Store, and there are, let's say, 5,000 people using it. Sounds perfect, right? There are some people who are using whatever I built. That's a great feeling. That's a great project to mention on your resume. Let's say I'm a great web developer. So I think of a good website idea. I launch that website and I work on it to basically some people are using it. Or better, let's say I have a family member, or let's say I have a cousin who has a business who does not have a website, and I, as a web developer, build a website for them, which basically enables them, let's say they have a shop and I convert that shop into an e-shop. There is an e-commerce website that they own now where people are able to buy online. That's an amazing project to work on, because whatever you work on, you are actually able to get it live. There are real people using that project. These are the best project to showcase. Some work that you have done which is getting used by people is the best project to showcase. If you can't do that, then you can work on some dummy websites, you can work on some dummy apps, right? Like that you can mention as project as well. But the best projects are the one which are launched, which are used by people, that shows that you would have to solve some bugs for that. So it shows that you know how to deploy things. So all those things actually you learn when you launch it to people, right? So that would be a great project to work on. Okay. Shrishti is saying, sir, I'm working in service-based company for past 1 year and now I want to get into a startup or a big product-based company. I tried but unable to succeed in any of the interviews. So Shrishti, see, if you want to get into a startup, you will have to work on your development skills, right? I don't know where you are right now, but please work on your development skills. Please work on a couple of projects, and I'm telling you that's really going to help you get into great startups, right? To get into a bigger company, I think if you're not able to clear interviews, that basically means that you need to work on your DS Algo skills, right? Don't worry about this. This whole interview process is a very random process, right? I have seen like the best coders failing these interviews, whereas mediocre ones clearing it, because there is always a luck factor in this. Like some people clear it because they have solved so many problems, they get the same problems in the interviews, right? So that's not the best way, but that's how it is. So personally, I would recommend you to try startups. It would be much easier for you to get interviews there, and for that you will have to learn development. That's something that you will have to work on. Okay. So next question is from Sachin. Sachin is saying, I want to switch from sales to software development. I have graduated in mechanical engineering. How should I go about doing it? Sachin, the same answer. And I don't know how long you have been into sales. That is one factor that's going to basically impact a little bit on how you can do it. But that being said, I think it's all about getting the right skills. Software development, I'm telling you, is the only field where it does not matter what college you're from, what branch you're from, what your previous experience has been. If you have the right skills right now, and you are resourceful in finding out and connecting with people, you will get a great job, right? So don't worry about whatever your experience has been, just get these right skills, right? What are these right skills? Data access algorithms and a development skill. It's going to be a must for you now to learn some development, and it will be really hard to get a job just on the basis of data access and algorithms. Okay. Okay, Ankit is saying, Ankit is interested in machine learning, where to start and how to apply for internships in job unit. Currently doing C++ data structure course from Coding Ninja. I'm in second year. Okay. So Ankit, if you're in second year, that's great. Second year, I'm assuming second year just started. You're already doing the data access in C++ course. It's up to you. If you'd like the first course, you can continue with the machine learning course with us, or you can learn it yourself as well, whatever works for you. And once you're done with that, to get a great job in machine learning, you will have to work on really good projects, right? Do as many interesting projects as you can. Build your profile on Kaggle, right? Try to get internships in machine learning. There are people who are hiring for machine learning for interns. Try to get that. If you have a couple of interns in machine learning, it will be much easier to get a job in machine learning as well, right? So you, for the next 2-3 years, you need to be completely dedicated to building projects for machine learning, doing a lot of interesting work, maybe with your professors, maybe professors in IITs or triple ITs, right? To do interesting research work, doing work with companies. So you will have to do all these things if you really want to get a great job in machine learning eventually. Neha is saying, Neha is interested in blockchain and she's not able to find proper guidance. Everyone has different opinion on LinkedIn. So Neha, that's true. I think blockchain, given that it's a new field, there are no solid opinions that people have. What I've heard is there are enough jobs out there. How well paying they are, that's a different story. I don't know. And yeah, so that's something I think is still a very open-ended thing. And because a lot of companies are not using blockchain right now, so I think it's more restricted to financial companies which are basically looking at these. So you will have to apply to more finance companies which are using blockchain technology, right? So Prahash is asking, what is the major difference between machine learning and artificial intelligence? What is beneficial more in trending future? Machine learning is a subset of AI, but a huge subset. So if AI has 100 topics, 90 topics are in machine learning, right? So in nowadays, whenever somebody is talking about artificial intelligence, in all likelihood, they are using machine learning to do that, right? So machine learning is almost all of AI, and AI is a superset of machine learning, okay? In future, machine learning is the right path, but I can call it AI as well because machine learning is part of AI, right? So artificial intelligence is going to be great. That entirely is going to be machine learning going forward. Okay. So Aditya has a question. Sir, I have an active back right now in 7th semester. Please tell how can I get off campus in good company because okay. So Aditya, I don't think there is any reason for you to be depressed, right? Like the only thing that you need to worry about is you need to clear that back, right? Don't try to avoid that. You need to complete that. If you want to get a great off-campus job, you need to work on your DS Algo skills as well as development skills. That is how you will be able to get great off-campus job. Don't worry about it. How everybody messes up at some point in their life. That's okay. You just need to take care of it going forward. Try to clear that back and try to move forward by learning these right skills, right? So that should work for you. Okay, I'm a student of EC second year. Which course should I pursue for internship and building good resume? So Hardik, first of all, if your DS Algo skills are not good, that's the first thing you need to learn, right? So you will have to opt for C++ or Java or Python foundation course. And once you're done with that, I think then you can ping me separately. Once you become a student, I'll be part of the same WhatsApp group as you will be. So you can feel free to ping me, and I'll be happy to suggest which path will be the right for you to move forward. Generally, we'll have 3-4 different paths. We can get into web development, we can get into machine learning, we can get into data science, we can get into Android application development. We can also get into competitive programming and just focus on that. So there are different paths and they work for different people. Different paths work better for different people. But the first step is data access and algorithms. So first do that. Once you're done with that, then we should worry about what to do next. Okay. Saurav is saying, Saurav is in TCS for a job role of power programmer. Okay, sorry. Saurav is asking, in TCS for job role of power programmer, what skills are required? Does basic knowledge on data science will help me out, or I have to focus on DS and Algo? I think you need to worry about DS and Algo as well. That will definitely be part of the test that TCS will be conducting, right, for power programmers. And that's something that you will have to take care of, absolutely. And you can't run away from data access algorithms. That is something that you will have to do in any case, whichever company you want to go to. So don't try to take a shortcut. Make sure you work on that. Once you've worked on that, yes, knowing data science will help as well. Not a little bit, no decent amount of data science, and that will help. Right? Okay, Anmol is asking, I'm working as a SQL developer from last 1 year and learning Java from CN, but should I approach data science course next or Node.js? Because it's hard to get considerable. So Anmol, it's not that there are not enough jobs for data science, but if you want to get into a data science jobs, you will have to give it some time. I don't think by just like within 3 months you'll be able to get a data science job, right? Like, but that is true for web development. So if the target is to get a development job as soon as possible, go for web development. If you are interested in data science and you're ready to give it some more time, then go for data science. Right? It requires a little more hard work. There are lesser jobs, but it's very fruitful, right? Like once you get into that, then you are one of those few people who are working as data scientists. So that really helps as well. So it kind of depends upon exactly what do you want. If you really want to get into data science, like plan it for 8-9 months, that I'm going to spend the next 8-9 months doing this. In case you are not willing to spend that much time in the current job and you want to change ASAP, then you need to focus on, I think web development will be better for you. Soumyadeep is asking, I've been doing the Python with data access course. What should I do for getting a job after completing this course? Is it enough for getting a job? Please rest for getting a job. So Soumyadeep, as I've suggested earlier, it kind of depends upon what kind of companies you are looking at. It kind of depends upon what college you are from. If you are from a college where you do get a lot of companies in campus, then data access algorithm should be enough to basically get you through. If you are really good in data access algorithm, that should be good enough to make you through. But in case you want to apply off campus, you're not happy with the companies coming to your campus, then you would have to learn a development skill that's really going to help you out, right? And you guys should have so much time. Why won't you learn a great skill and that's really going to help you in your job? Web development is something that everybody should learn. Whether you are a data scientist, whether you are an Android application developer, you should know web development. Web development is very, very important. Web development allows you to launch your machine learning projects. Let's say I built a great machine learning project, which given an image tells me the caption, explains me what is happening in the image. Now I have built this great project. How do I let people use it? What do I want to do? I want to launch a website where people should be able to come, upload their picture, and they get a great caption for that. Right? So for that you need to learn web development. Let's say I'm an Android developer. I want to launch an Android app. But this Android app in all likelihood would require data coming from a server. When you open a Facebook app, it requires data coming from a server. When you open a ESPN Cricinfo app, it requires data coming from a server. When you open Coding Ninjas app, it requires data coming from a server. All these apps require somebody to work on the server, which requires web development. Web development is something that I strongly believe everybody should learn. Right? That's a very, very important thing, skill set that every software developer should have. Okay? So Vikas is saying, can I get internship if I know only DS and Algo? Not many companies are coming to college. If you want a internship off campus, you would need to learn some development skill. It would be really hard to get an internship just on the basis of DS and Algo. Sumit is asking what to start with. What language to start with if he wants to eventually get into web development and Android. It does not matter. Pick a language, work on that. If you get really good in one language, moving to another language is going to be very, very straightforward. Personally, I started with Java in my college. Throughout college, I used mostly Java. First job, Amazon, had to work on C++, had to work on Perl. There was no issue at all. Like I knew Java, I had to move to C++, it was very, very straightforward. During my masters, worked on Java, worked on Ruby on Rails, right? So completely different languages from what I had done earlier, but that was fine because if you are really good in one language, moving to another language is very, very straightforward. So don't worry about which language to choose, pick one. And when you want to get into Android development and you have to learn Kotlin or Java, we'll do that. It's very, very straightforward. If you want to get into web development and you will have to learn JavaScript, so that's fine. We'll learn it at that time. Right? So just pick one language, don't worry about it, and work on that. Tanya is saying, I'm currently working in MNC with 3 years of experience in middleware, but I want to switch to a data science profile. Can you please suggest me how should I proceed? So Tanya, I have discussed this earlier as well. If you want to get into a data science profile, learn machine learning, learn data science topics, right? And then work on a couple of projects. That will basically allow you to apply and get some response from your recruiters, right? You will have to work on a couple of projects to basically get those eyeballs. Okay. Next question is from Sakshi. Sakshi is saying, for the people who are not in good colleges, they don't get much offer even if they complete 2 steps, DS and Algo, web development skill, and get stuck with less than what they deserve. As freshers are not referred much, so should they continue with that company? Sakshi, I don't really agree with that. I think you need to be a little more resourceful in that case. If you believe that you're really good in web development, you're really good in data algorithms, I think you should be able to get into great companies. You should be able to get into great startups with great salaries as well. Right? I know enough people who we have taught at Coding Ninjas, not from tier 1, tier 2 colleges, who are doing extremely well because they are really good in web development and data algorithms. Right? You just need to find the right path. I think one thing that these people did that I've seen is they did multiple interns during their college. That really helped, right? Having these multiple interns really helped during their college. So try to do that, right? Like if you're still in college, do that. If you are already working somewhere, then I think you just need to showcase the right skills and find the right companies, right? Talk to the right people and you will get a good offer. Don't worry about that. Rahul Athar is saying, apart from DSM development, how much should we focus on other core CS subjects? So Rahul, they are not that important from job perspective. You should focus on them as much as you require from your college perspective. Some companies will ask you some OS related questions, some networking questions, some database management questions, but that's very, very limited in terms of topics. That's something that you can revise close to your interviews. Rest of the courses, I think they are more from your college perspective. Work on them, whatever percentage, whatever GPA that you want to maintain in your college, you need to work according to that. Okay, Ronak is saying, I'm 28 from mechanical engineering background. I've got some people in software companies. Which programming language should I start with? What are the chances of job here? Hey, so first of all, doesn't matter you're 28, right? Like you're still very young. Like it's absolutely fine to switch career at this point. And I think language again doesn't matter. You can pick any language, but you will have to learn a skill like a web development skill or data science skill to basically get a good job, right? So start with any language, C++, Java. One of these two I would, even Python is fine, right? It's one of these three languages. And once you're done with that, then basically decide whether you want to get into website development, Android development, or you want to get into data science. That will basically open a lot of paths for you. Priyanshu is asking, I am in final year. Do I need to focus on doing more internships or focus on preparing for GATE exam? Priyanshu, in the initial part of the webinar, I did discuss about GATE. Personally, I would recommend you to focus a lot more on internships, focus a lot more on job, focus a lot more on your skills rather than GATE. That's my personal opinion, right? And that is true for people who are very, very hardworking. If you are really hardworking and you can get those skills right now, you will get good offers as well. So going through the preparation of GATE, then 2 years going through another college, right? All that effort that you will be putting in, it will be a lot more fruitful if you try to gain a skill right now using that effort, right? I think you will be at a much better position in 2 years if you get the right skills right now and in the next 2 years you do great work in a job. I think that will be much better. Okay. Nishchal is saying, Nishchal wants to do a research internship at IITs in summer or winter. How should I prepare myself later on? I want to do MS. Okay, great question, Nishchal. So Nishchal, first of all, IITs and triple IITs, they open their application for internships in December, January. Then you can apply for those internships. There is an official way of applying and using which you'll be able to do it. Generally, most of the projects nowadays are about machine learning or related to machine learning. So it will be great if you learn machine learning before that. You work on a couple of projects before that. You still have 4 or 5 months. So work on those projects and then use that base to apply into these internships. It will be much better, much easier for you to get in if you have the right skills. And it's absolutely the right path to eventually go for an MS. If you want to go for an MS and you get a internship, research internship in IIT, I think it's really going to help you in your application. Okay, guys, I'll be able to take a couple more questions, all right? So I'll not be able to take more than that. So let's pick this one. So Riddhi is saying, how do I get into big companies from a tier 3 college? Not many companies coming to college. So Riddhi, I've already answered that multiple times. Honestly, please do not focus on big companies. Focus on good companies. Good companies come in every size and shape. Some companies are small, but they're really good. Some companies are big and some they're really bad as well. So it's a mixture, right? So you need to focus on getting into a good company. And I'm telling you, if companies are not coming to your campus, the best way would be to learn DAS algorithms and development and try to get into a startup. I think I'm telling you that is the best path for you right now. Okay, Praveen is saying, sir, after BSc in IT, should I join MNC like Wipro because they didn't ask a single question from programming? Praveen, it kind of depends on your skill set, right? If you believe that you're not so good in programming, you are not good in development, I think it's absolutely fine to join somewhere. I will never recommend anybody to leave a job option that they have, hoping that they will get a better option later on, right? You have some option, you don't have a better option right now, take that. And then basically while you're in the job, you can find out some way to get a better job. Okay, so but if you believe that you have really great skills, if you believe that you can do really much better, then basically there is no reason for you to go to Wipro. The work will not be that exciting. So if you are really good right now, then focus on improving your development skill, improving your projects, and then basically apply for better companies. Okay. Okay. So okay, I'll take the last question. So this is from Mohit. Mohit is saying, I'm currently into manufacturing, want to switch to web development, following competitive programming and web development courses, have completed the competitive course, perfect. How to get project ideas for web development? So Mohit, as I said, right, like there are multiple ways. First way, let's say you have a business, or your family member has a business, or your friend has a business that needs to go live, right? That can have some online component which is missing right now. Do that, right? So even if it's a retail shop, build an e-commerce website for them. Allow them to sell online, right? That will basically a real business using something that you build will basically mean, all likelihood, you will have real people using your website, right? That's a great idea. That's going to be a lot more valuable in your resume than anything else, right? So that should be the first thing. The second, if you are not able to find something that people will use, if you have some ideas that you want to launch, that's perfect, right? Think of an idea, work on that idea, launch it, try to get people to use it. It's not going to be just web development skill that you will learn. You will learn how to spread a word about your idea, how to spread word about your website, how to get people on the website, right? That's going to be really helpful as well. In the last, if you're not able to do the first two, then I would recommend you to work on a project, whatever project you can think of, right? You can work on, I want to make a copy of Quora, I want to make a LMS system, learning management system. Like, you can think of a system which you are sure that nobody is going to use. If you build a replica of Quora right now, right, like nobody is going to use that right now, but that's okay. You will learn a lot more. You will learn a lot in that as well. So that can be the third category of project that you can work upon, right? Okay guys, we are running out of time. I won't be able to take more questions. This was a great webinar, great questions. And if you still have any more questions, you can email me as well, and I'll be happy to answer those. So my email ID is ankush, ANKUSH, @codingninjas.in, and I'll try to reply back ASAP. So feel free to ping me there as well, right? So thank you so much for coming. Great questions. Thank you.